I appreciate your interest and your mission. So I was told to discuss about Sikh faith with you people. I would prefer to discuss the doctrine itself in spite of politics or the history or the outer look or the rituals being done, whatsoever you have seen in the Sikhs. So those practices are the later on gathered by the people and being practiced. So we will discuss the doctrine part. You feel free to have any question or we can have later on. So first of all, Sikh faith believes in formless God, and that too not somewhere up in the sky, but omnipresent over here. So this omnipresence is known by the laws of the nature. So we consider the God is omnipresent and the laws of nature itself is the will of God. So it's not away from this universe and from this planet or from this earth. So then we consider that God is within you. God is in every being, but we have to understand, to elevate myself, that God is in every human being. And one has to realize it, like there is fragrance in the flower, so there is God within everyone, and one has to realize it by the elevation or by the insight. So that insight we find through the word of wisdom, we call it Shabad Guru. Shabad Guru means the word which is written in holy book, we call it Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And this, the essence of the Shabad means the doctrine itself. And it does not pertain to any particular place or particular sect or particular group of people. So it is beyond the boundaries and for all nations, for all people. It ignites the insight in the person, whosoever reads it sincerely and practices it. So particularly it does not discriminate between people. So it is for all. So equally for all genders, because God is genderless. First we said God is formless, so God is genderless. We don't call God as He, capital H. So we consider God is genderless, and that's why there is equality. So this equality is for women too. So it strongly supports women for equality. So finally this Shabad Guru gives the wisdom, gives insight or vision which enables one to realize God within him or herself and among others. And that too while living, not after death. So one can realize God while living. And we call this Shabad Guru as a Satguru. Satguru means the message of truthful living. Gur means technique, and this technique itself is called the technique of spiritual life. How to be a being of spiritual life. Spirituality, how to have, we call spirituality as a godly qualities. It does not accept pilgrimage. Rather it preaches God is everywhere, So wherever you are, if you are practicing morality, you are with God, and that itself is pilgrim. So you don't have to go once in a life or something to anywhere, any place. It does not accept any middleman. Rather, it enables us to have direct shake hand with God without any middleman and without any rituals. So one has to listen the word of wisdom. We call it Shabad Guru. Listen and practice it sincerely. As I said, God is formless, God is genderless, so there is no discrimination among people, caste, color, creed, or place, or status, or gender. So practicing equality or morality itself is called worship. So there is no particular ritual to worship. So if anyone who belongs to any religion, if it is practicing equality, practicing morality, practicing spirituality, this itself, this kind of behavior itself is called worship. So you don't have to worship to particular place, to particular person, to do any kind of ritual. So morality is meditation. It does not preach any meditation. Rather, it says, if you are living with virtues, practicing it sincerely, passionately, this itself is meditation. You don't have to sit in particular posture or chanting something. Rather, you are practicing morality. Again, we call morality as a spirituality, as a virtues, practicing virtues. It does not accept any miracle. Because it preaches reality. It abides with the laws of nature. So it does not accept any miracle, no superstitions. So Sikh faith doesn't promote any superstitions. That's how it does not accept any ghost or spirit. This I am talking the doctrine part of the Gurbani, the Shabad Guru, the word of wisdom, the word from the holy book. We call Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The next, it does not accept anything after this life. So no life after death. And that's why it does not preach any fear of hell, and it does not give any gimmick of any heaven, because Sikh faith preaches salvation while living. So there is no concept of hell or heaven. Because it is preaching equality, also loudly supports the women too. So it does not accept to live in celibacy, rather get married and earn your livelihood with true means, and while living in your life, in family life, married life with your kids and parents or wife, one is supposed to share with the needies. That's how we learn the contentment. So true means and sharing with the needies itself is worship. And this itself is called salvation while living. Yesterday evening I was told that what is my subject. I wish I would have known this earlier. I could make PowerPoint few slides for you, but you are quite sharp students, and so I appreciate your higher IQ, and I'm just trying to give you the tips. You feel free for any question. So this is called salvation by living, because in comparison to that there are many theories which tells you how salvation you achieve after death. Because it does not preach any salvation after death, it rather one has to live spirituality while living. So practicing spirituality with fellow citizens is the real path of God. So what is your behavior with others and with yourself first? That is called union with God. I am not quoting the real language which is written in hymns, but we call 𝐻𝐿 में हरजू बसे, means there is God within everyone, so you have to behave properly, and that too with wisdom, practice spirituality. Otherwise people used to think if you are spiritual, you have to renounce family life, you have to renounce worldly things, go somewhere else and keep chanting and do meditation and renounce few eatables and this and that, like that. So this is the real path. The oneness with God is your behavior with yourself as well as with others, your attitude. So attitude itself should be spiritual. Then it teaches stand up against unjust. So that is the part called saint and soldier in one personality. It teaches praise of God one has to do, but not for the gimmick, not for the any worldly success. Rather, praise God to practice godly qualities. If I say God has no enmity, I have to practice that. If I say God is kind, then I have to be kind. This kindness itself is praise of God, but that too to practice itself in my day-to-day life. As I said, it does not promote any ritual or superstition, so there is no importance of any ritual to dispose of the dead body. It does not accept anything that how do you dispose of the dead body. That gives no credit to any person. Rather, the credit itself is how you have lived your life. So, every day, by moment to moment, is salvation and oneness with God. So, you don't require any particular ritual. You can bury it, you can burn it, you can throw in the water, you can dig under the earth or whatever, by any means. But it does not give any credit that one will go to the heaven or something or something. So this, while living, spirituality itself is salvation by living. No gimmick after death. So this holy book, Guru Granth Sahib, contains word of wisdom to enable all human beings to find their own flaws, shortcomings through introspection, and teaches how to rectify them and become a being of spirituality. So I like to say this, it is not Sikhism, rather we should call it humanism. One has to live life of humanity, full of humanity, full of virtues. There are infinite points, but that much spontaneously today morning I wrote for this session. Yes.
Can you please talk about the origins of Sikhism?
It was started by Guru Nanak Ji. He was born in Nankana Sahib, now in Pakistan, in 1469. During that era, there were many, we call it bhaktas or saints, who were talking the same doctrine. So Guru Nanak also visited them and collected their word of wisdom. We call their Bani, and analyzed it vigorously and then contained in this holy book.
So since we've been here, we've heard a lot about some of the intersections between different religions and faith traditions.
A bit louder, can you?
Okay, sorry.
I have jet lag, I just
Yes.
arrived.
So we've heard a bit about kind of the intersections between different faiths, and you had mentioned that kind of anyone practicing spirituality and equality is following these doctrines of Sikhism, if I understand that correctly.
The humanism.
The humanism, right. So could you talk a little bit about what makes someone a Sikh, or what it means to be a follower of Sikhism as opposed to some of these other faith traditions?
See, we have code of conduct, which also abides to holy book, that is Guru Granth Sahib. So everything is according to the holy book. So one gets up in the morning and recites those hymns. We recite 5 hymns every day. But again, whatsoever the practice is being done, one has to finally practice the spirituality, right? So they are baptized, and then I think all of you know that. For that, those questions you can have plenty of sites to find these answers. I'm talking which is not in any website or not being discussed anywhere. So these questions are very, very simple, that what Sikhs are practicing, they are baptized, they are wearing 5 Ks, their dress has a code of Sikh faith and code of conduct, and then they are practicing those every day. So finally we will end up that whosoever is practicing, he has to practice the morality, the godly qualities.
So I've come to be really amazed by just the diversity and plurality of religion across India. However, given that Sikhism doesn't believe in the afterlife, and I think that deviates a lot from the other dominant religions within India, how does that sort of manifest in your perception of interfaith respect, past just coexistence?
See, when we are talking about humanism, our behavior with everyone itself is practicing interfaith. So one learns how to live in diversity. So it embraces all religions, all theories, respects them, but it does not accept any ritual to have oneness with God. So whosoever is doing any practice, it does not stop. It welcomes, okay, but it embraces that human being. It does not have any hate that why do you practice that.
So Sikhism, as you say, doesn't accept or embrace any kind of ritual. What is the value then of like the 5Ks or wearing the turban? Is that not considered in some part to be a ritual to distinguish yourself as
No,
a Sikh?
it's not for that purpose to have oneness with God. The part of this practice is called how to practice being saint and soldier. So one is part of that group, which is a two personalities in one person, saint and soldier. So we consider we all are army of the God, and that too for living spirituality, dying for spirituality, practicing spirituality, morality, the values whatsoever you can name them. I'm not trying to play with the words, rather I'm trying to convey that message which is written in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So it does not promote any conversion. Wherever whatever you are practicing, wherever in which country or what status you have, what gender you have, one is supposed to practice the godly qualities.
Thank you. Do you think you can speak a bit about, because we'll be visiting a Sikh temple later, do you think you can kind of give us context into why one might attend temple and what one does there to worship?
See, there was concept that there is one particular temple where the God lives, right? Because I said it does not believe in any form of God, any picture or any idol. So it does not accept idol worship or worshipping the pictures. So the concept of temple is like a school where you sit down and learn the spirituality. We call it Mere Ram Hum Barak Har Prab Ki Hain Yane Tan Tan Guru Gur Satgur Panda Jin Har Updesh De Kiye Syane. So we consider that I don't have the knowledge of wisdom, I don't have insight, I don't have that vision by which I can see all men equal, and I practice without discrimination. So when I sit there, I listen, I practice, and whatsoever they are teaching, that is for me to be a being of spirituality. So that is the purpose. That does not mean that particular God is living there and I have to worship that. So it's kind of school, spiritual school.
And so then who teaches?
Anyone can. There is no middleman, so there is no clergy department, right? No certified person that who can teach. Who is practicing, who is practical being of that, can share that. But whatsoever is being preached, it's written in the holy book, and we just bow down to the holy book that I surrender to this knowledge, which is much higher than me. So the message is being given that is written in the holy book. And that too is for truthful living. We call it Satgur. And that is applicable to all. It's not that that message is only good for one sect or one people or one group of the people. So if it teaches me how to conquer your anger, and that how anger is affecting you, all human beings are thinking the same way, and whosoever listens this and practices this, his anger is conquered and he's benefited. Then he does not harm anyone. First to himself and then to anyone. Then in the temple we have common kitchen, we call it langar. That to teach equality and sharing.
Can you talk about the concept of being a soldier and saint? How does that kind of mesh with this humanistic message that you're talking about in Sikhism?
See, time to time the action is being changed, but the main thing is your spirit. Whether you have spirit to talk against the unjust, there is unjust that women is oppressed, there is unjust that there is dowry system, there is unjust that untouchability is being practiced, right? So one has to have that spirit to talk against that in the community, and this itself you are on the path of soldier. Unless you know what is qualities of the saint, you cannot get up and raise the voice against the unjust. If I believe in caste system, how come I can be a saint, a soldier? I am not practicing saint itself. So talking saintly qualities and then practicing against any unjust being done in the society is itself is a concept of saint and soldier. If I call myself I am spiritual, but I do not earn by right means, but I do not earn for my kids, rather I am begging to others, rather I am renouncing and going into the hills, sitting in the caves, insulting the women, rather I respect the woman and I also raise voice for her equality. So in Sikh faith, in Gurdwara, in the temple, the woman is considered equal. She can also preach, she can also do the kirtan, she can give the lecture, she can do the prayer. See, you can relate to the first part I discussed with you, the doctrine part. You will get all the answers.
Starting with the first guru in 1469, there's a two-part question. One, how many gurus have there been since that? And then I know there's not one currently right now. So I was wondering why a guru still does not exist today. Why did it stop?
See, right from beginning, the doctrine itself, the word of wisdom written in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it says the guru is never in physical form. So right from beginning, the guru is word of wisdom. That word of wisdom is equal to all. Whosoever understands it, he will find first his shortcomings by introspection. So whosoever is on this path, once he understands this is my mistake, this is my flaw, this is my shortcoming, and then he is able to see the side effects of that, after effects, and then he is able to rectify them. This whole complete message is called Shabad Guru, the word of wisdom. So that is called Satgur Mera Sada Sada Na Aave Na Jaye O Abnashi Purkh Mein Sab Mein Reya Samay. So God itself is Guru, Guru itself is word of wisdom, the knowledge of truthful living, spiritual living, and that never dies. We call it Aaj Sach Jugaad Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. So it's right from beginning. No one knows when this was started. So right from beginning and infinite till infinite time, truthful living, the message of truthful living is called Guru. The technique to be a spiritual. The technique to inspire you to live on according to virtues. So these 10 gurus, but out of my respect, I call them guru. But they preached in Gurbani that Guru is Shabad Guru, word of wisdom.
What is Sikhism's stance on animals and consumption of meat?
On animals, what animals? What is
consumption of meat.
So it is silent about that. One has to learn that I do not suck the blood of the people. See, stealing others' rights is eating the meat. We call it hak braya nanka usur us gaye gurpir hamata pare ja murdar na khaye. I am eating the flesh of the person who is standing in front of me, and I am staring with my anger, and I am sucking his blood. If I am trying to make them my slave, I have this disease of domination.
So I heard you mention earlier, since the central part is spirituality and not ritual, that there was no sense of conversion. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then my next question would be, what is the stance on preaching or trying to spread wisdom? Is there kind of a tradition of preaching doctrine, or is it more so an internal way of learning?
It is internal as well as sharing with others, that word of wisdom. But as such, there is no particular preacher. No person is particular preacher. As I said, there is no clergy, no middleman, that he is the only authorized who is one with God, who is messenger of God. So every human being is messenger of God, because we consider every human being is son of God. We call it 𝐒𝐈𝐂𝐇𝐎. So we all are children of God. God has one religion, that is morality. That's why we call it 𝐿, God is one. It's not for the heck of saying God is one. So God is one means that I can see God in everyone. I can live in diversity. I can live with the poor people as well as needy people as well as higher people, or I don't hate rich or poor or black or white, men or women, because no gender discrimination.
Can you talk about the school and its mission? Are you affiliated with the school?
No, most of the times they call me for the seminars being done here for the staff or the parents or the students. By the way, I did not introduce myself. I used to be civil engineer, and I used to have my family business in New York. So since last 20 years, I took retirement from that. That time I was 36, and today I'm 59. So it is more than 20 years. So I go worldwide, and we have started one program which is called The Living Treasure. As I said, we are not talking about any religion, rather we are talking one religion, and that too is humanism. So we take the seminars, we take the seminars with the students in the universities and the colleges and schools and the parents and the kids, and we can go to any group of the people of any religion, anywhere, and that everything is done for free. I don't charge for my sharings, for my lectures. So this program is being telecasted on TV every morning at 9:30 a.m.
I want to extend immediately in response to that an invitation to Columbia University to meet with our Sikh student organization and other students.
Okay.
I think that they would very much enjoy.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
So we will look forward to
Sure.
to that invitation, that opportunity at Columbia on campus. One of the things that when I think about Sikhism, having gone to Kenya and gone to down the road and you stop at a Sikh temple and you can eat and be enjoy the hospitality of the faith. I think that that's one of the most remarkable ways to communicate the principles of Sikhism.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You sit down. It doesn't matter whether or not you have a reservation for dinner. It doesn't matter whether you have a reservation for lunch. You're not asked for any money. You just sit down and eat.
I appreciate your this gratitude and your this vision that you can see this. The purpose of that common kitchen, we call it langar.
The three principles are displayed at the last. The principles of Sikhism.
Yes. So we have discussed already that there are three principles. Kirt karo, naam japo, ban chako. Right? So one has to remember God by godly qualities. One has to earn the lively means. And ban chako means how we will share the good qualities and good behavior and the word of wisdom as well as food. Right? It's not only food. Actually, it is your attitude that you see the poor person, the homeless person is not wearing the warm clothes during winter. If you give him, this itself is sharing, this itself is vanchakna, this itself is langar. So we have thousands of people practicing in New York who distribute food to more than, I should not say any number, but couple of thousands of people, all those are homeless on Thanksgiving. So we are not just sitting at home and just cutting the turkey and saying Thanksgiving to you. Rather we go outside and there are many Sikh young groups are there who are practicing.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say also that the Sikh group at Columbia has a big langar celebration where they invite everyone into the auditorium and they seat people down and they serve everyone, and then when you're finished eating, you yourself can go around and serve people.
Yes.
Everyone from the community is welcome for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is equality. No one is authorized that you are from other religion and you are from other religion or you are you belong to Sikh faith or not. Right? That's why we call it humanism, the way of life. Thank you. So you have enjoyed that langar.
Yes. It's very good food.
We had just about 2 years ago a physician who was at Columbia University who was assaulted in Harlem, being chased by some people, and his response was to come to campus and to talk with undergraduates, to talk about how this improved his faith, that he wasn't seeking revenge, he wasn't seeking, police action. He was seeking reconciliation with these young people who didn't understand that he was there in peace. Can you say anything about, in the United States, some of the assaults against Sikhs that you are aware of, who, despite the fact that you are peaceful, harmonious people?
See, it's unfortunately it's mistaken identity that they are the victim of that. And those who are assaulting, they are highly ignorant people. But again, I take this mistake at my part, that or my community, we were not able to spread the message, what we are, who we are, what we do, what we follow, right? So they are discriminating. They are considering that we belong to some other religion, and we will do something which is called extremism. They do not know the principles. So see, this turban does not denote particular sect of the people. Rather, it gives me the responsibility that I am person of spirituality, equality, the oneness with God I practice among people. So it's even women can use it. So once this word will be known about Sikh faith, the humanism itself, they will practice and they will welcome. Then this will be almost minimized or nil.
One of the tragedies that I think is that some people who are Sikh are reluctant to wear the turban because they're concerned about the discrimination. And so even as I was preparing to come here, I would meet someone and I would say, I'm going to India, and they would say, oh, I'm Sikh. And I would say, oh, you don't wear the turban? And he says, no, I don't want to have any problems. It's a sad thing that something that is a symbol of spirituality, for some people who are, as you say, ignorant, see it as a symbol of radicalism or extremism. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, but see, we named it saint and soldier, combination of saint and soldier. So the saintly part is my self-esteem. Whosoever loses this self-esteem, he does not accept that and he doesn't practice. So that there is lack of self-esteem, and that's why he does not like to be part of this army, right?
That's interesting.
He call it Khalsa Kalpur Ki Fauj. The pure belongs to God. So we are baptized according to the system of Panch Pyaras and five beloved one. That is the system of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and then one is part of that Khalsa Kalpur Ki Fauj. But again, he is practicing the spirituality being discussed in Holy Book.
So you had mentioned that part of the problem was a lot of misunderstanding, and that would be the cause of kind of these hateful actions that were happening. And I think what you said about broadcasting your lectures for free is very fascinating and seems like
Thank you.
a wonderful way to educate people. Do you see the role of technology as something that could possibly help kind of raise awareness in the future?
Yes. See, this TV itself is good media, but the smartphone is more faster than that, or websites or whatever, and it is helping to the masses. See, I used to discuss with the people, among 40 or 50 people, slowly they have done recordings like that, and it is being telecasted on this far East Asia. So millions of people are watching, but next day it is on YouTube, then the whole world is watching. I have written more than 40 books, so they are being sold, and the money goes to the slum area. We run the ambulances here for the poor people. We dispense free medicines to them, and we teaches to the people who are in slum area, their parents cannot pay their fees, so we pay to them. So this whole Living Treasure program is for charity.
Both in India and in the United States?
All over the world. We have ambulance in Shimla, so it's hard to pick up the dead body and go to the graveyard or go to the cremation ground. So our ambulance without any discrimination, whichever one belongs to the religion or whatever, they just pick up the dead body. Like that, we have blood donation camps and all that. So many volunteers.
We have been learning a lot about, I think maybe almost by accident in our time here, we've been learning a lot about the current political climate in India. The current prime minister, the current cashless society policies, and because we've been studying religion, we've been learning about how religion is affected by the current climate. And I wonder if you could speak a bit about the challenges to Sikhs in this current climate, and what you perceive to be the challenges to Sikhism in general.
See, I believe after going through this doctrine and practicing this, one learns how to live in uncertainty, right? So there is challenge on every moment, and it's not only due to these days and whatsoever the politics is going on. It was there during Guru's time, like Mughal emperors, their cruelty, the Jahangir, the 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐴𝐕𝐄 and all those. So it is always there. One has to go through the doctrine and practice it and learn how to face this uncertainty. We are not in a comfort zone, right? It's not bed of flower, right? Rather, we have to create the comfort zone for other fellow citizens on this earth. That's why we call equality. If I know anything about spirituality and I am sitting and meditating, it does not mean anything to anyone. Rather, I create this environment so that others can be benefited. This is sharing, and we are doing that. So truth prevails. So ultimately truth prevails. No politics, no cruelty can crush it.
And talking of weather conditions at Hemkund Sahib and throughout the night also, how the service takes place in the Gurdwaras, that is something to be seen. That we wind up towards the end of the day, say at around 10, but still, if you visit any Gurdwara, you'll find a whole crowd of people who are there to serve, to clean the premises and prepare it for the next day. And early in the morning at around 2:30, 3, the process begins.
So the flag outside, we call it Nishan Sahib. So that is not just mere cloth. So it is inviting to the people that here you will get the shelter, here you will get the food for your body, here you will get the food for your soul.
Yes.
Right? So that Nishan Sahib invites to the people. It's not that mere cloth.
It's a sign. Nishan means a sign. So it's a symbol. It's a symbol of Sikhism, and it keeps reminding us our duty towards the society. So as Sir has been mentioning, service before self. That is what we always preach of, and this is what we have taken it from our gurus. Service before self. For example, if I can share with you our schools, the motto of our school is, Vidya Vichari Ta Paropkari, which means Vidya is education. Vichari is that if you contemplate on the education that you have received, that would be the best service. See, we read so many books, we acquire knowledge from so many spheres, but if we do not contemplate on the education or the knowledge that we have attained, then I feel that every qualification is a waste.
Wow.
So that is our school motto. So school motto is Vidya Vichari Ta Paropkari. Only if you contemplate on what you have learned, that gives a true meaning to your life. We talk of challenges. So challenges, I think they strengthen us. So challenges are always welcome. And that is why, sir, if I'm not wrong, ours is a community which is, if I'm not wrong, they are the first ones to reach any spot if there is a natural calamity, any disaster, any problem that is faced by people. without even, as Jesus also used to say, that when you do an act of generosity, if you give with your right hand, even your left hand should not get to know. I think Sikhs are, I'm proud to be a Sikh. We belong to a community who just believe in silent service without proclaiming too much or speaking too loud about it. That is one community that does that. I hope I'm right, sir. Yes.
On
Thanks.
behalf of the Craft Global Fellows and Columbia University, I would like to thank you for presenting such clear explanation of the doctrines of Sikhism. And despite your jet lag, you have welcomed us
Thank
with
you.
great
Thank you.
generosity. Thank you.
So nice of you. I appreciate it. I'm honored.
Journey so far. Our transformation expedition continues.